Welcome back to the studio, guys, for this very first part of our Harry Potter Hogwarts Robe tutorial videos. I'm so excited to be back in the studio, recording videos and posting them again. A week before Halloween, I broke my leg. I broke my tibia and I fractured my fibula, and I had to get surgery the day after. But yeah, so I was kind of put out of commission for a bit. I'm still kind of out of commission. I am walking around with a walker, which I have sitting right there because I can't leave this chair without it, in my house, and I take crutches outside, or I use crutches here sometimes too. It kind of depends. I am now wearing a boot all the time, basically. But yeah, so I can't put weight on it. I am not really able to walk around, at all or even carry things. So I've had to get a ton of help from my family members just working on this robe in general. So this tutorial video has been kind of, a long time coming. I've been working on it really hard. I've had a ton of help just trying to get this video rolling. But I mean, obviously you saw by the title, we're finally putting out the videos on my tutorial on how to make the robe. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Firstly, we'll go over the things that you need for the parts. So you will need, obviously, the pattern at the top. I bought the Hogwarts robe. It's just like a Harry Potter robes pattern from Amazon. You should be able to find it. I'm gonna put a picture of what the pattern looks like. You'll need about three-ish. So on the pattern, it'll tell you how much fabric you're gonna need of each, and I'll kind of go over it and tell you kind of what the fabric is. But you'll need two different colors of fabric. You'll need a black, and then whatever house you're in, you'll need the liner fabric. But so I'll go into what how much fabric you need later, and then you're obviously going to need a sewing machine and thread, and then you're going to need two little buttons for the clasps for the robe, which I bought from Joann's. They're like big weavy looking buttony kind of things. You'll see when I put them on later. But you can kind of literally just go to Joann's and be like, oh well, that looks like it would go on a Hogwarts robe. Okay, I'll pick those. Um, and then you will need a Hogwarts house robe patch. I bought an ironing. I actually bought a set of two that came with a Gryffindor and a Ravenclaw, which is really convenient because that's the robe that I'm making for my friend. And I am a Gryffindor, obviously. Woo! So you'll need the iron-on patch, and then it's optional, but you will need possibly wait. It's optional, but you might want to pick up some transfer fabric. That's what I use for the patterns. I'll show you that as I go through how to use the patterns and stuff like that. It's definitely optional, but I highly recommend it. It definitely makes it a lot easier. All right, so now that we kind of got our supplies down, the next thing that we'll need to talk about is the modifications. So the pattern that you buy is not exactly what the robe I make is. The robe that I make is, I think, maybe a little more movie accurate, and it's also more accurate to the robes that you can buy at Harry Potter's Wizarding World at Universal. They sell robes that are absolutely gorgeous. And they have really pointy hats. So I modified the robe that we're making with pointy hats. I also the robe that we're making has lining all on the inside, while the pattern that we're buying does not. And I also put in a wand pocket right here. Uh, that is not talked about in the pattern at all. So basically the modifications that we are doing in this tutorial is we're making the robe, so the hood on the patterns is kind of more like this, and we're making a big pointy hood like it is in the movies and like it is at the Universal Wizarding World robes. And then we're also putting in a wand pocket on the inside, and we're also lining the entire inside of the robe. So I think it's some really good upgrades. It just makes it a lot closer to the movies and a lot closer to what you could buy at the Wizarding World. So, all right. So now that you know all the modifications that we're making and the materials that you're going to need, we're going to head over to the patterns, and I'll kind of teach you everything you need to know on how to get started with the patterns. All right. So the first thing that you're going to need to look at it when you get your actual pattern, this big packet full of crap, um, is the kind of the beginning of the instruction. So you can see it shows you all the things that the patterns can make in here. And then it gives you kind of a parts list of everything in here. So what we're making is B, because that's obviously the robe. So when you come down here, you can see there's C is the tie, B is the robe, A is the top is what it's called. It's just a sweater. B is the robe. So here is what you'll need, like it says. It says use pieces 6, 7, 8, 9, and 12. So these are the pieces that you'll need for the robe. And then for the contrast, we're not really using the contrast instructions because it's making the robe slightly different than how we will be making. So just kind of focus on the robe part, the B part. So you can see that it's these are kind of how you want to lay them out. So like where these are medium, large, small, these are extra small and extra small. So we'll be doing it over here, obviously, for me, but whatever size you're making it. So it just says, it shows you how to lay them out on your fabric, and this says double thickness, so you're making 2 of all of these, basically. So it shows you how to lay them out if it's a 45-inch thick one, and this one shows you how to lay it out if it's a 58 or 60-inch fabric. So once you've figured out what pieces you need and how to lay them out on the fabric, you'll line them up. So basically what we're doing is you're going to make all of these pieces in black, all of them, and then you're going to make all of these pieces except for the pockets in your liner color, except for the 2 back pieces, because in my robe at least those have black in the back. I didn't make the entire thing liner colored, but you can make the entire thing liner colored if you'd like anyway. So once you've figured out what to do with your pieces, you'll need to look at the pattern. And you can see we're making B, obviously, because that's the robe, and it tells you how much you need. So I went off of this at first, but I ended up having to go back to the store like 7 times, I swear, getting more fabric. So it says, here are the sizes up here, and it says for B, for the robe, it says if you have a 45-inch wide fabric, then for a medium, which is what I was making, you need 3 1/4. Or if you have 60, you need 2 1/2, or any other size that you plan on. So I had 60 inches wide, so it said I needed 2 1/2. So I went to the store and I got 2 1/2. Actually, I think I got 3 yards because I knew I was making the whole black robe, which is what you need for this part. So here's the contrast, so that would technically be our liner. So this is all for the black fabric. So it says you need 2 1/2 yards of 60-inch wide black fabric. So I knew that I would need a little bit more because I needed to make the back in black as well. The inside of the back, because I don't have my whole inside liner. But, so I think I got 3. I'm pretty sure I got 3. And that was too small. I don't remember how much I totally used, but I remember going back to the store like 7 times. That's what it felt like. And then for the liner, you are literally making the exact same robe except for without the back. So I'd probably get like, the same amount or slightly less, very, very slightly less of liner than you did black. But you'll kind of have to figure it out. It's kind of like a trial and error kind of thing. Just keep the receipts, and you can use little scrap pieces and just bring them with you back to the store when you go to get more fabric so that you can compare and make sure that you buy the same exact fabric. It's not an exact science since we've modded it so much. Oh, and we also extended the hood, so you need more fabric for that anyway. So yeah, since we modded this pattern so much, you can't really follow this, but it does give you kind of an idea of how much you're gonna need. So this is what the patterns look like when you unfold them, and you will never get them back the way they were, I promise. But so they're gonna be these really humongous like tissue sheet kind of things, and you'll see that they have big patterns with a number, and it'll say like 7 back. So from our instructions that you need number 7 for the robe, obviously, and this is number 6, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's the front. So what you can do, basically, is you can either use, so I use transfer fabric, It's pretty cheap. You just buy it at the fabric store, and it's this really thin, light cottony. I don't know what it is, but you can see through it. You literally can put it down on the pattern, and you can see straight through it. So like I can see the line. So when I have this big thing of roll of fabric, I can just put it over this and use a pen and draw everything out perfectly on my fabric, and then I can cut it out. And then this is what I actually use for the pattern when I actually put it on my real fabric. So this is a lot easier. Obviously you have to buy something else, but it's way easier in my opinion. And then you can save these patterns and use them over and over and over again. So, if you don't want to go that route, all you have to do is, you'll see, so it says extra large, large, medium, small, extra small, blah, blah, blah. So I made a medium, so all you do is follow this line, follow the medium line all the way around. And you just cut that out, and that will be your pattern for number 7. So it is kind of hard when you do it with these just because they're so light and thin. They don't work great as like tracing patterns, so I don't recommend it. But if you don't want to buy anything else, or you just don't have the resources, that's fine. These definitely will still work. I think that's all I need, right? Oh, and don't forget to draw these little triangles everywhere. There are little triangles, and then you can see there's a triangle here. There's triangles here. So this triangle, you'll see, matches up to the pocket. So there's a triangle on the center of the pocket. I don't think it's on this one. No. So there's the pocket looks like this weird bean looking kind of thing, and on the center of the straight line there's also a triangle. So those two are supposed to line up. So that's how you know where you're supposed to put other pieces of fabric in relation to each other. So you know that you just draw that little triangle on the pocket and draw the little triangle on this piece, and then you can line it up perfectly and everything will line up well. So there's also a triangle on this one, and that's also for the pocket. So you kind of just, they don't label what the triangles are for, but you kind of figure it out, like as you're going through the instructions, it says, put a pocket here. You're like, oh, okay, that little triangle must be for the pocket. But other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory, and obviously I'll be showing you everything as we go along. So here's the first modification you have to do to the patterns, at least what I did. We're changing the hood. That looks something more like this. This will be like where the back of your head goes, and this is the front that attaches to the rest of the robes. And we're changing it to a bigger wizardy triangle kind of hood, like on mine, of my wizard robes that I made, Hogwarts robes. They look kind of more like this because it's a little more accurate to the universal robes that you can buy at the Wizarding World, and it's also more accurate to the movies, like when Draco makes fun of Harry Potter and he puts his, they put their points in their hoods and stuff like that. So we use this pattern, and then so we put that down, we trace these 3 sides here, and then I literally just extended the tip of the hood backwards and then drew a line, like drew a triangle. So I just extended, you can see where I draw out these lines, and then I just extended here. So let's see if I can measure it. So from the corner all the way out to the end is 29 inches. This one I'm making a little bit smaller. So this is exactly how big my hood actually is. And if you're making the medium size from the patterns, I would make it probably to a 30. But because I'm making this one slightly smaller, I'm just doing it, I'd size it down just a tiny, tiny bit. So I'd say just from this corner out, probably go to 30, or whatever you kind of feel is pointy enough for you. And then just draw a line, literally connecting that point to here. So, as you can see, I now have all my pieces cut out. They're kind of, strewn across the floor everywhere. I can figure out to put them for right now so I can have access to them since I can't really move. So we'll just kind of go through what you need real quick. So you should have, these are the four black pocket pieces. You should also have four black back pieces, or two black back pieces and two lining color back pieces if you want the entire inside of your robe to be lined. And then you should have two front lining pieces. And then you should have two black sleeves and two lining sleeves, and then also two lining hoods, whether you modified them or not, and two black hoods, and then finally two front black back pieces. That's a lot of tongue twisting. Front, back, black, back, black pieces. Yes. All of that. All right, guys. That's about all for the day now that we're all done cutting. In the next video, we're going to start sewing everything up. I just want to say, this tutorial, the way I'm filming all of this, is not exactly how I would normally want to film a tutorial, or an instructional videos, or just really videos in general about what I'm building. It's not exactly how I want to do it, but I'm very limited in what I can do, like where I can even be in the house, because I can't really get around at all, and where I can set up my stuff, and so they're not ideally what I would really want to put out with my videos, but you guys are just going to have to bear with me. I really, really, really tried to just be as detailed as possible and try and show everything that I possibly could so that you guys would still understand, because normally I think I'd film it slightly different, but because I really can't move, I'm literally like the tripod that I have right here, I literally am just carrying around with me. Like I sit at the table, I start sewing, I put it right next to me, and I'm like, all right, I'll talk to the camera, and then I'll show them kind of what's going on. So it's definitely different than what I normally would want it to be. So you guys are just gonna have to bear with me, but hopefully it works out all right, and it might not be that entertaining, but you'll definitely learn how to make a robe. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're just as excited for this tutorial as I am to teach everybody. And I really hope we can all come out with some super awesome robes. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these kind of videos, like building things in general, making things, I do all kinds of stuff. I'm into Star Wars and Marvel and Harry Potter and just all kinds of nerdy pop culture stuff in general, Game of Thrones. So if you're interested in anything like that, I have tons of videos coming up, and I've also done, a bit before, so definitely think about subscribing to the channel. And if you're already subscribed, don't forget to hit that notification bell, because you cannot rely on YouTube's algorithm to tell you when you want to watch videos. But other than that, really, guys, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. As you can see, it's the holiday time, so happy holidays to everybody, no matter what you're doing out there. I think that's really about it, guys. Thank you so much, and maybe get out there and make stuff. Maybe like this robe.